my last video, I had a comment from JCS CRT Gaming to make a video on Battlefield 1. And since he was my first comment to request I make a video on a game, I'm going to grant that request, and today's video is dedicated to JCS. Now, Battlefield 1 released in 2016 and was met with some really great reviews, and of course, thanks to EA, they left this game to go work on their next game.
Alright, I ruined everything.
Battlefield 1 has such a solid campaign that I recommend everyone should play before they even touch the multiplayer aspect. Even starting out with the opening cutscenes, EA actually for once does a great job on showing the tragedies and how horrible this war was for everyone. And I really appreciate that they lean more into respecting the history instead of just making this game be a shooter game and have a historical war be its backdrop. Yeah, I'm looking at you. I really like that the campaign isn't just one story you follow, it's actually more than one story, and you get to see how the war might have felt for each side. I really did like how different a lot of the stories were as well, and that a lot of the stories helped you learn some of the mechanics as well. Like having the pilot one be for the plane mechanics, or the tank one be about the tank mechanics, and even the Lawrence of Arabia one help with some stealth as well. I think the only complaint I do have is that I wish it was a little longer, only because I really enjoyed playing some of these stories. Now, the multiplayer was the main aspect of this game, and man, did EA not disappoint here. Even in the multiplayer, I never feel like the game was made to not be taken seriously, and everything really feels historically accurate, which can really make or break this game. The actual gameplay itself is really fun as well, and having so many different types of weapons and ways to set up each class is amazing. And each class plays differently as well, and I always find myself switching between each of them because there isn't a bad class to play as. It's just a nice touch how every class has a role, and you're not just picking whatever gun you want and then just run and gun everywhere. There can actually be a lot of strategy, which never makes the game feel so stale, and that's one of the reasons why there is still such a higher player base for this game. Even down to the little detail of this game just really feels like there was a lot of care for this game. Like when you get hit with mustard gas and you put your gas mask on, you're not able to zoom in, or when in the beginning cutscenes the voice lines are always done in the respective country's language. Even in the snow maps there are footprints and tire tracks that you leave behind as well. I think another thing that this game benefits from is the destruction and the mayhem that can be caused in this game. I really do appreciate how you really aren't safe sitting in a building, because at any moment that building can blow up. Or if you don't have any cover, you can always make your own. This game does have the classic Battlefield mayhem going on all the time, and there never really is a quiet moment in this game.
Oh my gosh, they have gone!
Something is always blowing up and really adds to how much fun this game can be. Having the squad system here was a great add too, especially when you always have the option to play with or without a squad. But playing with a squad really does amplify your match, especially if you want to play with more tactics and make each match more immersive. I think another thing that makes this game so great is how amazing everything looks. This is probably one of the best looking shooters I have ever played, and especially since it came out years ago. Everything from the cutscenes to gameplay as well, nothing ever feels like it was rushed to be made. And the same goes for the sound design as well. Even hearing shell cases fall to the ground sounds perfect as well. But I think what ups the ante is how perfect the music in this game is. I really don't think there's a bad soundtrack in this game, and I never get tired of hearing it either. Battlefield 1 has to be one of the greatest World War I games I have ever played. The attention to detail, the realism, and the respect of the history around it really makes it such a solid game. Now, if you haven't played Battlefield 1 before, I highly recommend it to anyone who is interested in the Battlefield franchise, and please don't even try to give Battlefield 2042 a chance.
Oh, the Antichrist.
Okay, you can't.
Ow.